Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Jamell Knight Rogers here with me today. How are you doing, Jamell?
I'm blessed and highly favored, brother. Thank you so much for having me here, man.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say hello to you wherever you might be tuned in from, whether it be Instagram, Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Facebook, or YouTube. We are in for a dynamic show tonight with a dynamic gentleman. If everybody can hear me clearly, I want you to put a number 1 in the chat. If you can hear me clearly and you can hear Jamell clearly, put a number 1 in the chat. And let's get right to it. Jamell, how you feeling out there, man?
Feel good, man. I'm just going back to our original conversation, when you had first contacted me and I asked you, I said, did you look at my background and whatnot? And you said no. Yep. And I'm a spiritual being, you know what I mean? I really believe that God has a plan for everybody and that he's a divine surrogate to everything. So to be here is powerful, just to see how what you're doing and how our paths are really connected.
Mm-hmm. The world, the choices you made, the choices I made landed us both here on America's Next Motivator with guests in the building. People who've been watching these episodes for 187 shows straight. This is episode 188. And so I was born in 88. What year were you born in?
88, baby.
Yeah. So things line up. Things line up. I'm excited for our show tonight. And let's get right into it. Jamell, where are you from?
So I have a weird past. That's a weird answer. Normally I respond with New York because I'm here, but I bounced around a lot. So I was technically born in Missouri, right? But I lived my first couple of years of my life in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So like by the time I was like 2 months old to the time I was like 6, I lived in Brooklyn.
So as soon as you were born, you moved?
Pretty much, yep.
You were already on the go?
Yep.
What was the backdrop, if you can tell me? What was going on in your family before you were born? Because I want to understand why you moved after being 2 months old.
So for me, substance abuse was a huge factor and a huge issue that played a part in my life tremendously. It was actually the name of my first album. My mother just had a huge drug problem, and I had to, pretty much stay with my nana when I was a baby while my mom got clean. So I didn't really know my mother for the first few years of my life. And then she took me to Vermont. I probably did just take me to Vermont, and she had my brother when I was about 4. So, and then when I went to Vermont, I was only with my mom till I was about 8 because we were taken into foster care system because she had overdosed several times. Her and my stepfather, serious domestic abuse, serious violence going on in the house, serious, she did 9 years in federal prison. So
wow. Now was this while you were born or before you were born?
This is after, when I was about 5, 6, my mom had my brother, she was doing all right. And then she just got heavy back into drugs, like really bad. Met a horrible person that was just treating her like complete garbage and, putting his hands on her. And she just didn't have a lot of family support because, my grandmother had died when she was 7 and my mother was just all over the place. And
wow.
Then she was wherever she was when I was 5. So my nana had to take care of me. So now she's got another baby. She's got this guy. She can't really talk to her family. I didn't really know any of my family growing up at all. My biological.
Wow. So it sounds like your mother was estranged from the family in such a way that you didn't even know your whole family because your mother was on the move because she was dealing with the disease of addiction. Yep. Did you have any relationship with your biological father? Did you know him at all?
I met my father when I came to New York City to play the train.
Wow. How old were you? How old were you when you met your father?
I was 29.
You went your whole life without knowing him, without having conversations or anything like that.
I had conversations with him when I was younger, and I remember him when I was like a baby when I lived in the city. You know what I mean? Because he would take me, and I had little sisters, and I remember when I was 5 that he told me that my grandmother had passed. But the whole time I was in foster care, the whole time my mother had overdosed, the whole time I was in state's custody, I never ever heard a word from my father. The state couldn't like nobody knew where my father was. When
Wow.
I found out that I had sisters, my sisters said that they thought I was dead.
When you found out you had sisters, your sisters thought that you were dead.
My sister said, we thought that you were dead. Nobody could find Jamell Knight Rogers. and I was a ward of the state, so you know what I mean?
How old were you when you got placed in foster care?
I was placed in foster care my first time when I was 6 years old.
6. And
Yep.
how long did you stay?
I got reunited with my mother when I was 8, and then we got taken away again around 9, and I stayed in foster care for until I aged out. I didn't see my.
How did all this moving around at that young of an age impact your social life?
It's a blessing because I was a different person. I grew up in a very white state. Vermont is very white. It's dominantly white. It's the second whitest state in America. It is a very small state. Being a ward of the state, living with foster homes in the middle of nowhere, being the only black kid was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how different it was until really coming to the city when I knew who I was as a black man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And not knowing where I was and who I was around, not knowing who I am and my roots and where I come from and how powerful my people are, growing up in mainly institutions because they didn't want to deal with me in the foster homes. They put me in multiple institutions, multiple group homes, multiple detention centers, and heavily medicated.
Wow.
It was like.
Hold on. Let's slow this down. Let's slow this down. Everybody out there, I want you to text somebody, tag somebody, get somebody else into this conversation because somebody can relate to the journey of Jamell Knight tonight. And he's Jamell Knight in this conversation because that's his performance name. Jamell Knight has been through so much. And at this point in the story, he's only 10 years old. He's barely 10 years old.
Yeah.
Growing up in an environment where there's almost no one who looks like him. He doesn't even understand the magnitude of what it means for him to be black or African American or however you want to term it, because no one's talking to him about his heritage.
Yep.
And so it's an identity crisis. Yolanda Riley says, "Wow, just a sad cycle of not understanding who you are, not understanding where you come from." It's an identity crisis that sends people spiraling downward and outward and upside down. And it sounds like instead of people trying to figure out who you were and give you the type of shot where you could be you and adjust and adapt, you were medicated. So instead of somebody saying, "Hey, but you have a father, let's find him and let's put your father in this mix," they said, "No, we can't handle him. Let's give him medication." Instead of somebody saying, "Hey, you know what? Jamell probably has an uncle out there. He has an auntie out there. We just need to look for his biological tree." They said, "We're gonna place him wherever we think he can be dealt with." So now talk to me about the identity crisis that ensued for you as you went from one place to the next. And were you fighting the effects of the drugs? Let's go.
So here's my thing, and this is like, they say hindsight is the best thing. And, shout out to Bob. Bob is a person that helped me graduate high school when my neck was messed up. Him and Heather put the money together so I could stay in a hotel and made sure I graduated high school.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. And you know what? And he's here. And he's here.
They're going to be here.
Letting you know that he insists on being a part of your growth and your success. So we want to take this moment out and say, hello, Bob Cantar. We see you. We appreciate you. And it's people like Bob. Yep. It's people like Bob who plant the seed that stops you from self-destructing.
Amen.
If it wasn't for somebody like Bob and the other person you mentioned, I'm sure that there were other people along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But Bob is here right now, and they're gonna come in. It's just crazy too, because my thing, the identity thing, was the hardest thing for me because I saw a lot at an early age.
Yeah.
I call her my auntie April. So I love her. Maybe she might be watching this, but I remember when I was so young, my mother was messed up. And she was telling her, she was like, you got to stop, Shirley. You got to stop. Like, your babies love you. Your son, Jamell, really, really loves you. And my little brother didn't really know what was going on. So when I got into these foster homes and they were telling me about little things that I couldn't see and watch, I was just like playing along. Like, I already knew so much already. So when I got to these group homes and I realized that it was just weird. Like, I feel like the best thing for them to do was to medicate me, because I was out of control. There's no way. Like, I was wild when I was younger. I was just like, you know what I mean? I never really had the structure in school. My mother was never at home. I never really had a bedtime. I never really had like a person tell me no. I never really had food around. Like, I didn't have any structure. So for me,
what was your day like before you got placed in foster care? Were you outside all night? How were you eating? How were you taking care of yourself?
Like, shout out to Rebecca. She might join too. Like, it was bad. Like, my mother was she was messed up. Like, sometimes when I think about it, it was just like bad, because, you know, there were days where she would leave for days. Like, I remember there was a couple times like she left for like 4 days and I was 9.
How did you eat? How did you eat?
The neighbors, they were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then they obviously they call the state, and the state comes and takes me and my brother. But the neighbors were like, wait, there's nobody here. Like, I couldn't even get in my house. And they like fed me and, you know, made sure I was good, took me out on different trips. And it was crazy, like how it was. And I never, it was just crazy. Like, I never felt like I had a home. Like, my whole life. Like, I remember that they put me in this group home for so long, man. My social worker, like, he would just say so much shit because they know that you have nobody. That was my thing. Like, I knew that I had nobody, that I was probably never going to see my mother again. Nobody. I felt like I had to be so strong for me and my brother.
Right.
And I had to make something of myself. So I promised myself when I was like 10, I was like, I'm going to be something. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, I could already backflip. Like, when I was 10, like, I was already like, I was smart, but I wasn't like book smart, but I was like smart. I was like not getting played. I was very brave. I was like fearless as a kid. I was fearless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
hold on. Let's take a moment to raise awareness about the inherent strength, the inherent courage, the inherent bravery that's in so many young people, young men and women in America right now. They're going from one home to the next. They're not going back home to their mother. They don't know their father. They're being medicated. They got brothers and sisters. They're in a strange place. People treat them like you're nobody because nobody's looking for you. And while all that's happening, this person is thinking, I'm going to make something of myself. Let's take a moment to raise awareness about the strength, the majesty of so many of our young people right here in America today. They're going through this. They're going through exactly what Jamell's talking about, and they're thinking, "I am not what I'm looking like."
Yep.
I know you might see me on the Met line. You see me on the big bus and the short bus and the white van and the blue van, but I'm gonna be somebody.
And you know what? I want to say, you know, to all those guys that are really out there going through it, especially with the system, you know, what really got me through was my faith in God. Like, there are so many people that really, really will care about you, and so many people that will give up. And it's up to you to find that strength in yourself and to realize that, like, especially a lot of the people in the system, like, they really do mean well. Like, a lot of the social workers, a lot of the people, they really do mean well. It took me a long time to realize that there are a lot of them that don't. But the ones that do, you know, they're stretched. The limited resources are stretched. The education is stretched. The resources are just so stressed and stretched. And for me, I just had a racist. My social worker was racist. So he was like, and you know, God rest his soul, like, he was bad. Like, people were like, we need to get this kid with somebody else. So there's always a way. And
did you ever think about what could be done to make the foster care system better or more efficient or more effective? Have you ever thought about that?
Like, that's my whole, like, that's like my mantra, like, know your truth, NYT. Like, that's what That's what I stand for. That's all I want to do, is use my platform to help and inspire other people, because there are so many things that can be better. But you know, it took me years to realize why it isn't. I had to see the other side of the coin. And this is what it is. It's like, and you, like, when you grow up in the system, you're a number. Like, we're all numbers, but when you're in a system, like, you really are a number. Like, people are in and out of this room. Like, you don't have your own room, you don't have your own clothes, you don't have your own anything. You go wherever they tell you to go. Like, you have to really, like, adapt. But the good thing about that is, like, you really do learn a lot about different types of people in different environments. At least I did. If you don't let it get to you, if you don't let those people break you down, because there are people that are miserable. Like, I've had people tell me stuff that, like, you just would never believe somebody would say in a group home that's trying to help kids, like low key try to provoke you, or like low key say something. You gotta, like, be strong.
There's abuse and neglect that gets you taken away from your parents, but it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop
because you get placed in the system, and so it becomes really challenging to figure out how to live a positive and productive life, because you're constantly getting hurt day in and day out. And we know that in order to be a positive and successful adult, you've got to have some level of stability. You've got to have some level of happiness about life. And so it's almost a mystery how someone who goes through the things you've been through figures out how to live a positive and productive life. What is one thing that you feel could be done better in the child well-being space for young people today? What's one thing that you've thought of?
There has to be a plan for when these kids get out of the system. There has to be a better plan. There has to be a better plan. No matter what it is, anything, there just has to be a plan. Because when these kids turn 18, 16, 17, and they have nowhere to go, like nothing, like no family to go to, no inheritance, no car, no credit card, no cosigner, no nothing. I'll be 33 years old on Easter. I just barely learned and how to establish my credit. I just barely learned how to do so much, just barely put myself in my own place. And I'm 33 years old almost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, I had no, when I was out of the system, I can't say I had nobody, because I had a lot of people that, like, cared about me, that loved me as much as they could. But when it came down to that, like, yo, I really slept in a van. Like, I really slept in a van below zero with blankets, with people bringing me blankets because I couldn't sleep in their crib and I was 17. So people were like, damn, like, and their parents were like, yo, is he really sleeping in my van? Like, I had people, like, sleeping in little closet areas. Like, I was homeless for years. I love, like,
it's unfathomable to a whole lot of people that you could literally have nothing.
They need like 20K. Like, every kid in the system, like, they need like at least or some kind of like Section 8 something. Like, they should not be homeless. Like, I've seen so many kids with nothing. Like, just get out of the system and have nothing. Whew,
for those people who don't know, there's a 47% correlation between foster care and homelessness in America. This statistic came out of a Harvard case study, and it's been consistent for at least the past 10 to 12 to 13 years at the very least. I've been sharing that statistic for 13 years. And it hasn't changed. The people, if you survey the people who are incarcerated, you survey the people who are homeless, the people who are vagrant on the street, so many of those people were in foster care. And guess what? It's not when you become 18 or 17 or 21 that you become homeless. You were homeless the whole entire time. The moment you got taken from your parents, you were homeless. And the gap that needs to be filled is the gap of helping an adult or a young adult get on their feet emotionally first. The burden is heavy. Helping them to get on their feet emotionally. The fact that they feel like they've not even gotten over the hurdle of what they went through. So they need some counseling. They need to talk. They need to vent. you know, and then after that, they need financial help.
They need
They
it.
they need organizational help,
Yeah.
right? They need rites of passage, and then on top of all that, they need respect.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm in this totally vulnerable position, I still need you to respect the fact that I'm a man now, and I'm homeless. I'm a homeless man. I'm financially broke man, right? But I'm not broken, and so on top of all this stuff, I need respect, and that's the gap. That's the gap. I feel for you because you were in foster care, but in terms of helping you to like make a whole life for yourself,
Nope.
listen, I'll give you a couple days to sleep in my van. That's
Yeah.
the best I can do for
That's
you.
the best I can do. And you know what? Thank you for letting me sleep in your van, because I could have froze to death. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
One of the things that helped me, I feel, was like, I just like, when I was at Brookhaven, that was the name of the treatment center that really changed my life, because that's when I realized that they had given up on me pretty much. Like, I was not leaving there for a long time, and I didn't
Who
see
gave
my
up
brother.
on you? Who gave up on you?
My social worker, he just dropped me off there. Like, it was crazy. And I met this lady there. She might watch. Her name is Tammy. I remember, like, I used to run away. They could not find me. Like, I used to be crazy. Like, and I stayed there for so long that they were like, he can't be here anymore. And then I went to another home and another home. And this is what I will say. My life changed. Like, I loved music. Like, my mother, she used to always play like Tony Braxton, Keith Sweat, Michael Jackson, like all types of music, right? So I had that music, but when I went to the foster care system, all I would listen to would be like, it'd be like rock music, like classic rock, like the
Hold
Beatles.
on. What did rock and roll do for you? Talk about that. And then I want you to see if you can play something for us. Just, do something for us, man, before we go to the break. But first, I want you to talk about the impact of rock music on you. Go ahead.
Everything. I don't know what it was. I was angry and aggressive when I was like young. I was angry. And I used to love this band called Limp Bizkit. I used to love heavy metal music. I wanted to learn how to play the guitar so bad. I don't know what it was. Like, I used to hear the guitar in my sleep. I used to like, I want to learn how to play. Like, that'd be just such a thing if I could play the guitar, you know? Yeah. And then there's
make it scream. Yeah.
Like, and there was this staff member. His name was Jeremiah, right? And he had this guitar. And then there was another staff member named Garen. Like, I want to learn to play the guitar so bad. And I just like, I was 14 and a half, and I got into a bunch of trouble. Jeremiah gave me a guitar, and they're not supposed to do that. Like, staff are not supposed to do that. But like, I was there for so long at this home. Like, I got there, and every kid that was there came and went.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, damn, like people, like I got to know the staff members in a different way. So like some of these guys, like I just had a long conversation with one the other day, 20-something years ago. Bob's known me since like these people actually loved me. So right. Those are the people that got me through. Like Jeremiah, I couldn't, like, it wouldn't have been fair if he gave me a guitar, other kids didn't have a guitar. So there was only so much he could do. He wrote the chords down on a piece of paper. When they threw me out of that group home, he made sure they packed my guitar. Right. So when I got to the other group home, I had a guitar. And I was pretty much locked up. So all I did was play guitar. I used to sit there and put my fingers there and teach myself. And then I just like, that just became my life. So rock and roll became everything because every song that I heard had a guitar in it. Every song from I'm talking like from the Eagles, like the Mamas and Papas, the Eagles, the Beatles, everything, the Temptations. Like I played everything. I wanted to play Incubus. I wanted to play Coldplay. I wanted to play Red Hot Chili Peppers. I wanted to play everything. Staff, they used to give me tab paper, like tab. I used to get tabs of paper off the internet and sit in my room and play guitar all day.
How many tears did you shed learning how to play that guitar?
Bro, I shed man, tears.
A lot, right? Yeah.
Blood. I have blood on my. This guitar saved my life, bro. I have blood on the bridge of this guitar. When I had to get it restrung, they were like, "Yo, there's blood on the strings." I was like, "It's my blood."
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say, I want to co-champion this with Jamell, that music is extremely powerful. The emotions that you feel when you're going through trauma, and we're not just talking about foster care. There's millions of people in America who go through trauma that never go through foster care. So this is not only for foster kids, but specifically for people who go through foster care. We got 444,000 youth in the foster care system today, and the emotions that he's talking about are resonating and ringing true at a very high frequency. Music, specifically rock and roll, it can do so much for a lot of them, because inside you're already screaming, inside you're already crying, inside you're already yelling.
Let it out.
And to hear a music form where people are incorporating all these elements in a melodic way with thoughtful lyrics is almost like a breath of fresh air for your whole entire soul. And so, can you play something for us before we go into the break?
Yeah, I'll tell you guys something. Like, this is a song. I mean, you guys will probably know this song. I love this song, man. It's been a minute since I played it, but
let's get some hearts and likes in the building for Jamell Knight, everybody.
You know what that is?
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, one smell of leaf gas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight dim. Can't stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway, the commission bell. I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up the candle.
Oh, you know what? We can stop right there, because this is the power, the talent of the young people in America today, the young adults in the foster care system, the people in the foster care system. This is their home. This is a home for them. America's Next Motivator. He exemplifies the passion, the resiliency, the grit. He got blood in that guitar. He reverse engineered the guitar, and then he reinvented himself.
Amen. I love how you put that, bro. I appreciate
Jamell Knight. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to put the hearts and likes in the building. We'll be right back with more from this phenomenal young man. Give us a second. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network and our viewership. we're back. Jamell, how you feeling out there?
I feel good, man. It's a really powerful show, man. Really powerful stuff.
Yeah, and it's positive, man.
I love what you're doing. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm super excited that you were able to come here and share your story. For those people who don't know, you have over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Your following is absolutely huge because you didn't let the institution stop you. You didn't let your entire life experience stop you. You came to New York and you went live at the MTA, the train station, the Port Authority. Talk about it.
New York changed my life, man.
Wow.
I love this city because when you think of New York from the outside, everyone's like, it's rough, it's hard, it's this and that. And then my experience after, going through the foster care system and getting out was like so different, like because I was, addicted to drugs. I had a huge drug problem. And
you did too? You had a drug problem at some point?
Like it was crazy. I had to go through it to get to it, as my guy James would tell me. Like I ended up selling drugs, using drugs, getting hooked on drugs like myself before coming to New York. And my experience with the people that I was closer from New York were like guys that were coming out and selling drugs. So I was selling drugs for these guys, just like a whole bunch of just stuff that was just wrong. And my experience was just tainted. So by the time I hit rock bottom in Vermont, I didn't care what anybody told me or thought about New York or whatever. I was like, New York is the place to be. Like, if you're a musician, if you're an artist, if you're a fashion designer, if you're a gamer, if you are a person that New York, it's I don't care what anybody says. New York is popping. It's the best city in the world. It's the most busy popping city ever. You can come here tomorrow from anywhere on this earth. You could be in a village in Nepal right now, right? Don't speak a drop of English. Don't speak a drop of English. You can come to New York and you will make your first American dollar. If you hustle, you don't have to speak English. You don't have to be able to walk. You don't have to be able to talk. I've seen people on the train. I've seen every type of hustles here. There are no excuses. There are no timeouts. There are no days off. There is nothing but blood, sweat, and tears. Make it or die in New York City. And that's how I feel about this city. Every day that I wake up and I breathe this New York City air, I thank God because he gave me the strength to rise above just the basics. Like, this is the regular life. New York City, you got to be right here, baby. And when you step out of that house, everything costs money. The air you breathe costs money. The rent is ridiculous. The food is ridiculous. The transportation is ridiculous. Now they're taxing you on COVID. It's ridiculous. If you want to stay in New York, you got to put that work in.
That's right. A lot of people in different places around America, they are that type of person because of their experience in foster care. It's made you, it's made you tough. It's made you so hungry for greatness. You want to skip past just being okay. You want to do so well in life that you get what you were supposed to get. Almost like you want to retroactively enjoy the fruits of your labor. Meaning you don't just want to get by. You want to exceed your own expectations. And so
you deserve it.
A lot of places in America, they don't have the infrastructure for someone who's so hungry.
Nope.
But New York is one of those places where you can come. Your hunger has a home. Your grit has a home. Your resilience has a home. Your hustle mentality has a home. But there's a catch to it though. This city will eat you alive.
Tell them.
This city will eat you alive if you cannot get your act together. And so this is the part where you connect and relate to so many thousands and millions of people across the country because, you were hungry and you were resilient. You started performing on the train, but you also got your act together or else you probably wouldn't be here today. So let's talk about how you overcame the drug addiction. You overcame the recklessness of being a youth. And you said, you know what? I'm a musician now. Start on the train. What happened on that train?
I spent from the time that I was 9 years old to the time that I was 26 years old looking for my mother, and I didn't find her. If you go on SoundCloud right now and you type in Jamell Knight, there is my last song. I will never take this down. It's called Boom. You will see a message. It says, I love you. You are so handsome. The next message says, this is your mother, Shirley. I found you. The next message says, I understand if you don't want to talk to me, but I miss you. Call this number. And I called the number after who knows how many years. And a lady was there. She's like, yo, your mother just left. So this is over 15 something years. And I talked to my mother, and you know, I was hustling drugs. I was messed up, man. Like, I left Vermont to meet my mother. My mother was messed up, bro. It was like, damn. Like, yo, she was staying in a hotel in Staten Island, right? Mm-hmm. I turned into like a little boy. I wanted to see my mom. I wanted to sing for her, right? And she saw me, we talked, we cried. And this woman, and I love her for this, we're sitting in there, I got my guitar. She's like, you should go play that guitar on the train. I'm like, wow, I'm scared. She goes, no, let's go play. So she walks with me in the thank you tank. Oh my gosh, man. She walks with me, we take the bus. I start playing my little shit, and somebody drops money in my case.
Did your mother take you to the train?
She took me to the train.
Hold up. I'm so moved right now. After all of the comments, the messages, the conversations that he's had with thousands of people because of what he's been through, it was his mother, after it was all said and done, who gave him the direction that changed his whole entire life.
You know what's crazy is I've had people suggest it to me, but she went there with me. This is my first time out in New York. This is before I came here officially. I played on 14th Street, Union Square. Mind you, I'm from Vermont. This is not the Jamell I am now. This is like a scared, really small town. Like, the city was very, very big to me. Like, I couldn't take the train by myself. I didn't know how the buses worked. It was a very intimidating place. Like, my mother was sitting there watching me make money like this, like, you could have done this by yourself, and I'm playing with no speaker on the platform of 14th Street, and I made about $30, right? And I got lunch and I ate with her, and my mother died, man. She overdosed, and when she died,
I'm very moved by your story tonight. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please text someone, tag someone, share the video, hit like on the video, subscribe to America's Next Motivator on all platforms. Go out there and find Jamell Knight on all social medias. Follow him. Get in tune with his movement, because he's the real deal. He's got the nuts and bolts to prove it. Your mother passed away, and
so I spent this time, like, and my music was like, I was in a weird place, and I'll never forget it, because my mother she just continued to cycle. I went to stay with her for a little bit, and I had this moment of clarity, right? Like, I have her painting on my wall, my substance abuse is right here. It reminds me, I look at her face every day, because she was abused. She was raped. She was molested. She was beaten up by every man that came into her life, put his hands on her, and just treated her like complete garbage. And she said that she was so proud of me. She's like, I'm so proud of the man that you've become, and I'm so sorry that I couldn't be more to you because I was addicted to drugs.
Wow.
And I forgave her in that moment, and I'm so happy because I understood. She's like, I love you and your brother so much, but I just couldn't stop. I just can't. And I looked at her and I was like, you know, I love you. Like, I understand. And when she died, I knew. I was just like, that can't be me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I don't.
Are y'all feeling this conversation? Drop some hearts and likes in the building. Drop a number 1 in the chat if you are in this moment with us right now. We're literally talking about the moment where this man said, I gotta transform. I can't be what society set me up to be. Society by way of the way that my mother was treated. Society by way of the absence of my father positioned me to be a drug addict, just like where I came from, to sell drugs, just like where I came from. But when he lost that biological connection, it meant so much to him. His mother told him her story before she died. It meant everything to him.
It's such a, I thank God, and I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, and I'm here with you, man, because we are getting ready to move into a brighter space. He said, I'm going to do this for my family. I'm going to do this for my brothers. I'm going to do this for everybody who represents, who's been through the life I've lived. I'm going to transform. I'm going to transform.
What night means. Know your truth. It was formulated from my darkest moment of just being like, literally, I will never forget it. My brother Tank, he was always there for me. The whole time I started making music, he was there for me. When I didn't know my mother, when I met my mother. And this is like my boy. It's just like, his name is Tank, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And when I met up with him, he just busted out crying. And we just cried, like, we just cried. And I cried so hard, bro. And I was just like, the worst thing happened. Like, the worst thing that could ever happen to me happened. Like, my mother's gone. Like, I have nobody. My uncles, my cousins.
What was the importance?
There wasn't a rose. There wasn't a rose. There wasn't a card. There wasn't an obituary. There was nothing for my mother. There was nothing for her. Wow. And like, I still have her ashes. I got her tat here. There was nothing. There was nothing. Her brothers didn't send a rose. They didn't anything. They sent me her ashes in a.
Let me ask you this: Did anyone notice that you were this young, passionate kid with nothing, playing your heart out in the train system? Did anyone notice?
Everybody noticed it.
Talk about it.
Like, when I first came here, when I first played the train, it was like nobody judged me. Nobody cared that I had my flip-flops on. I had no shoes, bro. I had flip-flops and a pair of shorts that were all messed up, and a t-shirt and a bucket hat. You can see the pictures. I was hungry, bro. I was 130 pounds with my guitar, playing the 7-chain back and forth, making like $400 a day. I was killing them, man. I was playing every song under the sun. People had, I'm telling you, like, in New York, I thought, and this is not me bragging, like, because I seen it, there's talent everywhere in the city. There's people that are talented everywhere. Yo, I was out there every day, B. 27 degrees, 22 degrees. I didn't see those guys out there every day. I did not. There's a few guys I saw out there every day. Me and Jake the saxophone, 27 degrees. That my first video that ever went viral is me playing Justin Bieber with the saxophone player. That was 22 degrees in the middle of February. People were pissed in the beginning of that video. Yeah. They were like this. Yeah. Then that one lady started clapping, and they all started clapping. You know how it is in the city. Like, right. I love New York because people supported me. They fed me. Like just imagine being broke, like absolutely broke, and being able to get on a train and play a song and make 20 bucks. Like, I had to wash dishes. I had to sell drugs. I had to do X, Y, and Z. And this is my talent. I was like, if I can make it in the city, people are going to dub me if I'm whack. If I'm trash, I'm not going to make any money. Guess what? I've been paying my rent for years. I haven't had to work a job since 2017. So New York gave me everything.
What do you say? What do you say to young men and women out there who are knee deep in the experience that you've talked about tonight? They might still be doing drugs. They might still be on alcohol. But they have talent. They have potential, and they're not using it.
Yeah.
What do you say to them tonight?
This is what I would say, and this is just me being real with you. If you have any talent and you know that you don't have anybody out there for real, make peace with it. Make peace with your mother, your uncle. Make peace with whoever you feel hurt you. Don't listen to what anybody tells you. People in the system told me my mother was a crackhead. She was this, she was that. She didn't care about me and my brother. Why are they here if my mother wasn't there? Go stay at my mother. She never gave a shit about me anyway. You have to make peace with all of that and be like, no matter what, maybe my mother did this, maybe this happened, maybe my father did this, maybe this happened, maybe it hurt me, maybe they hurt my brother, maybe this person did something that hurt them so bad that you can't forgive them. You have to forgive them, because that will weigh you down, and you'll look at that person and resent that person. And it seems like you can't, but I'm telling you, man, like my mother did. You have to. Once you get that peace inside yourself, nobody can hurt you. Nobody can break you. You are so strong, because when everybody walked out on you and you've put a smile on your face and something happens to you, you're like, listen, man, I look for my mother for X amount of years, and like there's nothing that I'm grateful for every moment. Once you make peace and you're grateful, tap into your ability and just don't give up. I mean, like, if it's God-given, if it's natural, it's going to keep calling you. It's up to you. And whether it's singing, dancing, it could be helping other people. Like, one of my passions is being able to help other people, just like you. You know what I mean? If you're just
hold on. We're about to round third base here in the show. I want to get a couple more things out. The first thing is let's make this a victorious moment for so many millions of people across the country tonight to understand that once you make peace with all of the people, make peace with yourself is what you end up doing. When you decide to make peace, you have an epiphany, you have a light bulb moment, you have growth. One of the things about going through all these experiences, and remember, this is inside and outside of foster care, is that when things are hurting you, you're not thinking about growth. And when you're upset at everything that happened, you're not growing. But once you make peace, lo and behold, even though you didn't have your father, you didn't have your mother, you grew up in foster care, whatever happened, you slept in a hallway for 10 years, you can still grow. It is not too late for you to grow. It is not too late for you to grow. Make peace so that you can grow at last. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, he's the real deal. I'm getting ready to play a video. I went out there, I found a music video. I want people to understand just the magnitude of the talent that we're talking to tonight. You remind me of several superstars. Let's play his video. Everybody, drop ones in the chat. Drop some fire emojis in the chat, some heart emojis in the chat. Let Jamell Knight know that we understand that he's a superstar. He's got it. He's got the talent. He's got the whole package. Check him out. Blow the chat up, y'all. Put ones in the chat, heart emojis in the chat, fire emojis in the chat.
My guitar it gently weeps. Its eyes from the string it weeps. In tune with you, it's getting deep. These late night calls don't disappear. You're that song I wanna sing. You got
Martin Rafferty, what's going on, sir?
your drums to my melody. Damn, you put a spell on me. From the way that we keep falling in love, there's one that you listen from above. I'm the type of guy that's easy to trust. It's not just you and me, girl, it's us. And I just love your energy. Makes me think we're meant to be. Girl like you was meant for me. And I'll take it to infinity. I call out your name like you're missing when I fall out of love. I go swimming in your eyes, in your smile. Take a dip with me, just don't think your towel will get lifted and draw off on the cloud. Life gets tricky, so with me, take a while to think it me, but you've always been down, just like this beat in your heart. It's so loud, I hear it sing. Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, go out there, look up Jamell Knight, watch his videos, check out his content. Did you notice that video had over 300,000 views? This man is a superstar. An actual superstar. Who wrote that record that we were just listening to?
So me and my friend Cornelius, we put that together. Yeah.
Shout out to Cornelius.
Shout out to Cornelius, man. Like I met Cornelius, working with Chris Gotti,
Okay.
out in New York, and
I gotta say, we've got somebody who's also a champion, a big time champion in the building tonight. His name is Martin Rafferty.
Yeah.
Martin Rafferty leads a huge organization called Youth Era. He says he's going to share this. Means that a lot more thousands of people are going to discover you tonight. So I just want to appreciate the camaraderie, the love, people coming here and listening to these stories, because I believe we should wrap around you, man. You, like I said, you've been on the train, you've been in the streets, you overcame, and you're extremely talented. I want everybody out there to be encouraged. There's something inside of you that if you can manage, and this conversation is a nod for you to manage.
yeah, it really is.
Rebuild that gift inside. Rebuild that gift inside.
We build it, and I just want to really say something that got me through. I don't know who needs to hear this, or what your faith is, or what you believe in. I believe in God. I'll give my life to God. Like my spiritual relationship with Jesus has been what my faith in the Lord has gotten me through. Believing in my heart that I was loved by the Lord Jesus got me through everything, because there were times that I slept outside that I knew that God was going to get me through. There were times that people thought they were going to hurt me that I knew that God was going to get me through. There were times where I was sick as a dog in the hospital with the pneumonia, almost died. And I knew that God was going to get me through, and God got me through. And I'm telling you, if you put your faith in the Lord, and I believe in him, he will never let you down, ever, no matter what.
Let me ask you this.
No matter what.
Let me ask you this. What's in the future for you? What's next? What are you planning to do? We've got 2 minutes left of the show. We're moving at a rapid pace. What's next for you?
What's next for me is I'm going to continue to make music. I'm probably going to put together some kind of book, and I'm just going to focus on trying to build my life as an adult. I just dropped my first album. I really want to just, focus on building my life. I put all my money, all my energy, all my effort.
What's the name of your album?
Live at the MTA.
Everybody, please go out there and buy his album, Live at the MTA. Go out there and buy his album. I think make his sales go up like that because he was here on America's Next Motivator tonight. Buy his merch.
Buy the merch.
Listen,
my merch goes to the Church at Prison Ministry. We're supporting all the people that get out of jail that don't have any support system. Like we're helping get back on their feet. We got
20 seconds. We got 20 seconds left in the show. I got 3 questions for you. 20 seconds. The first, what is survival to you?
Survival is doing whatever it is necessary to survive, to live, to make it.
What is success to you?
Success is what you determine it. Success is being happy and feeling happy about what you do inside. Not what anybody else tells you, but how you feel about what you do. That is success. When you feel good about who you are and what you do.
What is greatness to you?
Greatness is giving it your all every single day, no matter what happens, no matter what happened, or no matter what will happen. That's greatness. Day in and out, failure, you never fail. You always win, or you learn. That's greatness.
Jamell Knight, Jamell Knight Rogers, I want to let you know that we've listened to your story today, the way that you overcame. You were You were someone who went through it all, and yet here you are. It's tremendous. I want to say we've listened to your story today. We're giving you respect while you're still alive, and we're giving you a crown today while you're still alive to receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, put the crown emojis into the chat. We are giving you a crown today while you can still receive it. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Jamell Knight, you are America's next motivator.
You guys are absolutely incredible, Cedric. I love everything that you're doing. I think your energy is super inspiring, super incredible. Thank you so much for having me a part of this show. I'm going to do everything I can to share it, to help you promote this message. Let me know if you need support. I absolutely love what you're doing, man. It's
yes, sir. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Everybody, Jamell Knight Rogers. Thanks for stopping by today, all right?
Thank you, brother.
Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you got to do, just like you did today, is stop by and pick it up.